Wake up, America. How can you sleep when we are literally losing ground? Every minute, the land equivalency of 7 football fields is cleared to make room for animal agriculture. So, on an average night's rest, 2,940 football fields will be cleared for animal agriculture. Are you surprised? Shocked? Agriculture affects almost everything in our lives, from the foods we eat, to the land we live on, to the water we drink, and the quality of our air. Ignoring the negative effects that animal agriculture has on us humans and our environment would be detrimental to our health and the health of the environment. Biodiversity is a variability within species and ecosystems. Animal agriculture has a chance of destroying species richness and ecosystem richness. The land being cleared for farming belongs to other species who then become displaced, vulnerable, and their populations tend to dwindle. 45% of all land mass on Earth is being used by animal agriculture, and eating animals is the largest contributing factor of habitat loss. Animal agriculture also depletes the land being used, reducing our abundance of ecosystem types. So, what goods do we receive from biodiversity in this case? Healthy ecosystems and their counterparts, like birds, prevent agricultural pests like spider mites and diseases. For example, birds save Hawaii's coffee growers $500 million a year by eating pesky pests that destroy their coffee beans. More examples of goods that we receive from biodiversity are nutrient cycling in the soil, climate regulation, and water regulation. For example, every body of water contains small microscopic organisms attached to rocks that consume bacteria and essentially clean the water for us. Another example of goods that we receive from biodiversity is pollination. Bees pollinate over $15 billion a year in U.S. crops. If we lost bees, we'd lose our pollinators and therefore our crops and money as well. Even though agriculture sometimes harms our environment, we cannot and should not get rid of it. Agriculture provides money for families and contributes to the United States economy. But if we continue to exploit the land, we will have no way to cultivate food. This is why we need a balance between agriculture and biodiversity. If we support and save biodiversity, it can help us reduce the stress put on the environment. The following threats, pollution, drought, and world hunger, disrupt the linkage between biodiversity and human health and well-being. The waste that comes from farms often run off into the water, polluting it and making it a dangerous source of drinking water. These polluted waters get cycled into our air through the water cycle and evaporation. This pollutes our air system. Polluted air worsens many respiratory diseases like asthma. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, or the USDA, animal agriculture is responsible for 80 to 90% of U.S. water consumption. If most of our water is being consumed for agriculture and our other sources of water being polluted by agriculture, we face a very big problem: a lack of water. Water is necessary for humans to live, so something needs to be done and quick. According to the MEA, the most important direct drivers of biodiversity loss and ecosystem service changes are habitat change, such as land use and pollution. To reduce the detrimental impact that animal agriculture has on the environment, humans need to look to other sources of protein as alternatives. Crickets are a perfect example of an alternative. Some other alternatives are mealworms, caterpillars, and grasshoppers, also seaweed and chirps, which are chips made out of cricket powder that are actually more nutritious than regular potato chips. You may be wondering if people will actually go for this idea. To figure this out, I went around offering people chirps, cricket chips, and sent them a survey after they had eaten it. 18% of the people surveyed said that yes, after eating the cricket chips, they would consider eating crickets as a form of sustainable protein. No, and maybe tied for 40%. Although not the norm right now, crickets could become a viable option in the future. With over 2,100 edible insects, you're likely to find one that you like. So, not only are insects healthy for you, they're also cheap to produce and nutritious. When we eat bugs, we save water and land. Did you hear that? That's the sound of the future.